and this is now on the outside because it was right here and fell out, but the battery actually exploded. Hey YouTube, my name's Ian Landsman, and I'm usually riding a motorcycle talking about just regular BS. So if that's your thing, subscribe. But this video is going to get a ton of search terms. I'm about to show you some gnarly explosion. And this is my 20 kilowatt Kohler Home Generator. If you are familiar with these, when the power goes out on your house, this gas generator will kick on, and then you'll have electricity again. And usually it works great, but it's been having this one problem over the course of the 6 years I've owned it. Every 2 years, just not quite 2 years, like clockwork, the battery will explode. Now, if you're a consumer, it hasn't happened before, or if you don't know to go and look at it, and you just call the dealer up, they'll come out and they'll tell you your battery was defective, or they'll just say they fixed it, and they'll sell you a new battery plus installation, $300. But if you buy your own battery, it's $100. But the thing is, the battery shouldn't explode every 2 years. Now, why does it explode? And I'd like to say thank you to Kohler. All right, at this point in the video, I've got to change gears because I always contact companies when I make a video of this nature, and I'm used to being ignored. But in this case, they did want to get in touch with me. And what they wanted to tell me is it's a known issue. They answered my questions, and they offered to send an updated part which will partially mitigate the issue. Now, Laura over at Kohler did a great job, and I know that she didn't treat me better than anyone else just because I'm making a video. And the reason why I know that is a little snafu on their end. They emailed me, hey, what's the best way to get in touch with you? And they accidentally sent the entire line of internal communication, and they had talked about how, you know, I said I was making a video, and oh, never mind, he's a small channel, he only gets like 30 views a video. But let's help him out anyway, because he's a normal customer too. So I'm convinced that if you have this problem and you call them and you ask for the part, they will ship it to you at no charge. Yeah, but the actual problem is that overcharging will result in boil off of the liquid. And once there's gas in there, the liquid is not covering the bits of metal completely. It can spark, and then because the gases are explosive, it can explode. But she did have some numbers for me, and she said if it's charging past 14 volts, like 14 or above, we want to send you the part. If it's charging at like 13.9, 13.7 and lower, we don't want to send you the new part. So I have to get a voltmeter this evening and test it, but without a doubt, my machine is having these issues, so the voltmeter is going to be above 14 volts charging, and I'll ask them to send me the part. Is this normal? Well, for batteries, arguably yes. If you put a battery on a shelf and you put a dumb charger on it, something that just shoots voltage at the battery constantly, it will eventually explode. If you put it on a smart charger, something that tests the voltage, and only charges it if it's low, then it will never explode. And I don't know if the newer generators have a smart trickle charger or not, but from what she said, this is a problem that only affects older machines, and newer machines no, and I think that's truthful. I don't think Kohler would have let the next generation slip out the door with the same problem. She did say it's an industry-wide problem, and that the reason why you don't see this on, say, your car in the same environment, and she did say down here in South Louisiana she sees a lot of these. It's not all over, it's environmental. But the battery is not constantly being charged in your car. Your battery is only being charged when you turn on your car and you're driving it. And your car, if it's a newer car, is smart about charging the battery. It doesn't just shoot tons of voltage at it all the time. If you had your car on constantly and never turned it off, might the battery explode in a similar fashion as the one I'm about to show you? Yeah, I think that's honestly true. This is the nature of the battery. And there's one more point I want to make. My thought as a consumer is that the battery in my generator ought to last as long as the battery in my car, which is between 6 and 10 years. However, she told me their recommendation is that you replace every 2 to 4 years, and her personal recommendation is every 2 years. And the reason why they recommend a very frequent change interval is because this is not a car, it's an emergency generator, an emergency device. Zero sarcasm, recommend that you pay a service technician hundreds of dollars instead of maintaining your own equipment, because this is basically 100-year-old technology that anyone can do. Yeah, but I've already been in here to check. That was the first thing I checked because it's a common issue. And this is now on the outside because it was right here and fell out. But the battery actually exploded. Safety first. If you're ever going to touch a battery like this that's exploded, gloves. And you never go for the positive first. You always take off the negative first and put it to the side. And the reason why is because the live voltage. You do not want to touch that positive while the negative is connected. So now I'm going to take this battery out, take it to the store with me so I can get a new one. Now with the negative battery terminal safely out of the way, you can touch the positive battery terminal without fear of a problem. And I want you to notice, I don't have a ton of corrosion on these battery terminals. It's not because of resistance at the connectors that this battery decided it needed to explode. And this is the third battery, so I've been diligently checking the fluid level, taking off the caps, seeing if there's not enough fluid, and putting more fluid if necessary. But it's never been low, and it's just really disheartening to me that I know I'm going to have to put a new battery in this thing every 2 years. And I really hope that Kohler figures out whatever the problem is, and instead of saying, oh, you have a defective battery, that's all there is to it, they say, oh, there's a part in the machine that's actually causing this risk. We have an updated part. We will sell it to you, or we will give it to you. It'd be nice if they gave it to me, but I don't think that's reasonable. I think they should sell it, and I would love to service this machine and put an upgraded part in it that makes it so the battery does not catastrophically explode.